Hello and welcome to Bored and Confused, where I review shows based on two criteria. One, was I bored? Two, was I confused? Today's show is Caroline, playing at MCC Theater. Now, before I get into this, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I am almost at 4,000 subscribers. I'd really love to pass 4,000 and then we'll do 5,000. So I really appreciate your help in getting my content out there. All right, let's talk about Caroline at MCC Theater. This theater is really close to my house, and I don't go as often as I should. So I was glad to check out Caroline. I was actually going to pass this show up, but I saw it popping up on critics' top pick lists. So I was like, you know what? Let's see if we can find a cheap ticket, and I was able to get one on TodayTix for 43 bucks on the lottery. It's a very intimate theater, no bad seats. So even though I was in the back row, it's perfectly happy with my seat. It's very intimate. I love this theater. All right. It stars Amy Landecker, River Lipe-Smith, and Chloe Grace Moretz. Did I say those right? Who knows? Right. So other than the fact that critics liked this show, I went into this knowing absolutely nothing. Caroline is written by Preston Max Allen, and it's directed by David Cromer, and this is the world premiere of this play. It was initially scheduled to close on October 19th, but they have extended it to November 16th, which is my birthday. So what is Caroline about? Well, it's a three-person play, as you saw, and it's about this mother who has a trans daughter who's 9 years old, and her boyfriend, who she's been living with, hits and breaks her child's arm when he catches her trying on a dress. So being a good mother, she's like, we got to get out of here. But unfortunately, Maddie, the mother of this little girl, doesn't have much of a safety net. As a child, she was very difficult. She got into drugs and she was stealing money from her parents. And her parents eventually she hasn't spoken to them in years because they tried to help her and she was just beyond help. So Maddie realizes that the only option she has now to provide for her daughter is to contact her mother, whose name is Ria. So that's what the play is about. So let's get into some of the things I really loved about the play. The writing is very specific. It feels very real, very truthful. And the actors' performances are also very good, especially Chloe Grace Moretz, who plays Maddie, who's really the main character in this play. She's the one that is really being pulled in different directions by wanting to provide for her daughter and having to appease her mother, the child's grandmother. The set design is fantastic. The lighting is great. Scenic design by Lee Jelinek, costume design by David Hyman, lighting design by Tyler Micoleau, Micoleau. The acting's really great, especially Chloe Grace Moretz is really raw, vulnerable, and imperiled. And I also love River Lipe-Smith as Caroline is really grounded and natural in her performance, their performance. I don't know the pronouns for this. And Amy Landecker is very poised and in control as the grandmother, although more reserved than these other two characters. The direction is very careful, it's very lean, it keeps everything really focused on the small moments and shifts in beats in the play, and it's a very intimate stage, so I think that was taken in consideration. And I think the writing and the dialogue feels very real and truthful and honest, which I loved. The structure of the play is very tight, it's only 90 minutes. We really get into the play and we start pushing forward. And I think this play has emotional resonance. After the play was done, I really had a lot of things to think about. It brought up some emotions, some ideas. What I do love about this play is it features a trans character in Caroline, the daughter of this young mother. But the play is not about trans. It's not about whether a 9-year-old girl should transition or should not. It doesn't really open that can of worms. Everyone in this play really accepts Caroline for who she is, and they want to support her. So it's not about being trans, and I think that was a smart way to go because I watching this play, I felt a little bit that sometimes Caroline was being given too much power. She's being able to make too many choices about her life. I mean, a 9-year-old, a 9-year-old can't even pick out what they want to eat. They're going to ask for brownies all the time, and that is what Caroline is asking for. So it's this interest juxtaposition of, we'll tell a child what they need to eat, but do we let a child decide what medical treatments they're going to get? But this play doesn't really get into that. This play really is more about burning bridges and about giving someone another chance and forgiveness and what we do for our children. There are 3 actors in the show, but most of the scenes are always between 2 people. It's either between Maddie, the mom, and Caroline, the young daughter, or it's between Maddie and her mother, Rhea. And then there's one, I think, small scene between Rhea and Caroline where she takes her out to a museum. But for the most part, I think there's only one scene where it's all 3 of them, and it's when Maddie arrives with Caroline at Rhea's door. A lot of the lines for Caroline, which is truthful, is just a child asking why this. And so sometimes the scenes felt, especially for the first half to 3/4 of the play, felt very expositional. It was a lot of Caroline asking Maddie, why do we have to do this? Why do we have to go there? And it's a great way to get out exposition, but it wasn't a very dramatic way for me. So the drama really doesn't pick up until we arrive at Grandma's house. And ultimately, Grandma, Rhea, lays down her demands in order to help them. And that is the scene where the drama flies, and that's between Maddie and Rhea. And that's where all of Maddie's past as being a really bad child who her parents gave her opportunity after opportunity, and then she would turn around a bit to betray them and steal money and buy more drugs, so that they really just cannot trust her. And Maddie, in a way, cannot even trust herself because she knows that she's vulnerable. So what I really loved is this writer gave us 2 characters that we can both, as an audience, we can both support and understand and agree with, but then they're butting heads, and as an audience, we get it. We get why Rhea is afraid to trust Maddie because she's been burned in the past, and we get why Maddie really needs the help from her mother. And then they both want to help Caroline. So it dramatically, the setup of this, I think, is brilliant and really gives us a dramatic engine to this play. Unfortunately, we don't get there till 3/4 of the way through the play. I sometimes felt too that Rhea, the grandmother, her character felt so reserved that I really had a hard time really grasping who she was. One of the biggest things, though, is when she answers the door, she's dressed really nicely and she's wearing nice shoes, which to me just all of a sudden tells me what kind of woman this is. This is a woman who has money. This is a woman who really cares about her appearance so much that she even is dressed like she's expecting guests at home. But I didn't really feel like I understood who Rhea was as a person. I really wanted to dive more into that. The writer has also really made Caroline, this 9-year-old, she feels like a child, but she's also surprisingly intelligent, and she sometimes is a little more dramatically complex that is plausible for a girl of her age. But sometimes these children do exist. So probably my biggest complaint or my biggest critique would be the ending of the show. They've set up this really fraught situation, and they've told us from the very beginning of the play that Maddie tells us that the only choice is to go to her mother, to go to Rhea to ask for help. This is the only one they can go to. But then the play, spoiler alert, the play ends with them kind of deciding to just go off on their own. And I felt that was really undercut because the stakes that we had built was that this was a do or die situation. So the fact that they seem to be able to casually say, no, we're gonna just do this on our own. And I see maybe that this play was a experience that then allowed Maddie and Caroline to realize that they could do it on their own, or to make it so that Caroline better understood the situation. But part of me felt like them just going off on their own, I was like, this is a 9-year-old child, and she seems fine with it now, but the minute she doesn't get what she wants, she's going to be angry at her mother for not having enough money to provide her with the things that she wants, to get her the clothes she needs, or to buy her the toys she wants, And we set that up earlier in the play. She keeps talking about wanting a switch. A switch, showing my age, which I assume is some kind of computer game. And the mom's like, I can't afford it, but she keeps bringing it up. So I appreciate the writer really showing us that she's a 9-year-old, but at the same time, allowing the 9-year-old to make these gigantic decisions that affect not only the Caroline herself, but also affect the mother and that affect everyone. I just was a little bit like, I don't know if we give a child this much responsibility in directing the pathway of everyone's lives. And so the end did not feel so much like an ending as it felt like the start of another play or new beginning, because I could just see, oh, they're going to go off and try to do this on their own. And I just could see all of the difficulties they were going to have as a result. So it's an interesting choice into the play, and I was a little confused by it, especially given the stakes leading up to it. I didn't see how easy of a choice this was for them. So was I bored? Not at all. Even though there was a lot of exposition going on, I thought the performances were so nuanced and specific, and the intimacy of the theater really helped me to dive into these characters. I especially just was really enjoying Chloe Grace Moretz's performance, because she really, she just was a very complex character, struggling with her past, trying to make a better future, but having her past haunt her and get in her way, and even doubting herself that she was capable of doing this. Just a really multi-layered character that I absolutely loved. Her costume, I loved her tattoos, I loved the way she talked, loved everything about her. And she's, one of my main reasons to say go see this show. Confused, just mainly confused by the ending of the show. It wasn't as satisfactory as I wanted, and it just raised more questions and concerns in my mind. But what I love about this play, sometimes by ending it that way, it gives us something to talk about. Also, an interesting thing they did with this play that I forgot to mention is outside of the theater, they've got a kind of a line that shows all of the cities that Maddie and Caroline have to travel to get to Maddie's mother, Grandma, and it gives statistics about laws, anti-trans laws that have been enacted, and also drug statistics, because Maddie is someone who fell into heavy drug usage. So I found that a nice little touch, not exactly a director's note, but something to read that really, I read all that before I went into the play, and it really kind of put me in a place where I already understood where we were and the trajectory, and it also helped me understand the reason why Maddie was so concerned about finding the right place for Caroline, living in these communities that have all these restrictive laws that would make it difficult for Caroline to be her authentic self. So, my final thoughts. Caroline is a small show, but it has a big emotional impact. It's not perfect, but it's honest, it's vulnerable, it's very impressive for a premiere to have the show already to be so strong, and I think the performances are really great. So if you like intimate, character-driven dramas, you're going to enjoy this. If you're interested in trans stories and queer narratives, I think you'll enjoy this play. If you like strong female performances with multidimensional characters, I think you'll really enjoy Chloe Grace Moretz's performance. And if you like seeing world premieres, something new in an intimate theater, you definitely want to go check out Caroline at MCC Theater, extended till November 16th. And tickets, I got mine at I think I mentioned earlier, I got it at the TodayTix lottery for $43, which I think is a great price for good theater and an intimate theater. So go check this out and comment below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you at the next one.
Don't wanna drift away, wanna stay inside the play.